Hello from me and my little mascot over here, courtesy of my 5-year-old son. We would like to welcome you to today's Future Spouse Pick a Card reading. In today's Pick a Card reading, I want to find out how your future spouse's family are going to feel about you. So I want to find out their first impressions of you. I want to find out whether they approve of you. I want to find out whether they like you, because sometimes they can disapprove but still respect who you are as a person. I also want to find out what they like and dislike about you. And then I want to look into what your relationship with your future spouse's family is going to look like. So if you want to find out these juicy details, I need you to choose one of these 3 wonderful piles. Pile number 1, we have the Seeker. Pile number 2, the Poet. And pile number 3, the Judge. I highly recommend that you go with your first gut instinct, but if you are having a little trouble to choose your pile today, I would like you to sit with me for a moment and close your eyes. Now take a deep breath in with me and release. And while you release that breath, I want you to release all of that mental clutter, leaving a clear mind. Now once your mind is cleared, I want you to ask yourself, how will my future spouse's family feel about me? And as you open your eyes, you are going to be drawn to one of these 3 piles. And once you have chosen which pile this is, I will see you in your reading. Hello, utterly fabulous pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out how your future spouse's family are going to feel about you. So you chose the Seeker. Now, this tells me that you have quite a free spirit, even if you're not feeling particularly free at the moment. I believe that you're somebody who is willing to burn something to the ground and start something new. You may have some very strong fire energy in your chart, and if it's not fire energy, I want to say there's a lot of cardinal energy in there. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. Now, I do feel like you could be somebody who in your early years did feel very lost. You may have been somebody who was brought up in a household that may have been very lenient with you. Maybe your parents had their energy in their own pursuits and they weren't really focusing on you, or this could be the complete opposite, where your parents were overly controlling and you had to release yourself from those shackles. But I do feel like in your earlier years you did feel like a bit of a lost soul. It may be one of those energies where I really don't know myself. But this also injected this beautiful energy of optimism. It's like you were a bit of a dreamer. Anything was possible in your world. And I do think that you are on the pursuit of achieving those dreams and making the impossible possible. So when it comes to the first impressions that your future spouse's family have about you, it really does, because the thing is, this is your energy. This Seeker energy is in your aura. Even if you're not communicating the fact that you are always looking for the next best thing, you are always looking to keep on moving. And this is another thing with you. If you achieve a goal, it's on to the next one. You want to continue to expand. Whether this be expansiveness through finances, wisdom, constantly trying to expand the love within your friendships and your marriage, you're always seeking improvement. It does make me think that you are somebody who's very hot on self-improvement as well. You may be really into exercise, you may be really into eating healthy, you may be really into spiritual practices as well. That's coming up quite strongly here. You could be somebody who is really interested in a particular religion or a particular spiritual movement as well. And this is what's in your aura. So this is why your future spouse's family are going to feel this from you even before you open your mouth. Now, I definitely feel they sense your energy being very light and airy, but very bouncy is what I'm feeling here. I do think there's an air of intimidation, and I think it's because they don't really know what to make of you at first. I think there could be 2 sides of the story here. I feel like your future spouse's family may instantly think, wow, what a beautiful free soul. This is somebody who really is aiming for the best out of life. This is somebody who's really inspirational and motivational. I think they can sense that in your energy. But then I think on the other side, they'll be like, but is this somebody who's a little bit unhinged? And I don't want this to offend you, because it's most probably going to make more sense as the reading goes on. But the fact that that unhinged energy that they pick up on isn't the fact that you are unhinged. It's the fact that you are a movable piece. So you're like a movable chess piece. That's what Spirit is telling me to say. A movable chess piece. Now, I do think this can make your future spouse's family feel a little bit uneasy, because I think they can definitely see the greatness in you. I definitely feel like you're one of those people that if people don't like you straight away, you can win them over. There is no, I want to say there's no negative bone in your body. You're very optimistic, you're very positive, you're very light-hearted. And even on a dark day, I feel like you're the kind of person who can turn things around and find a positive in the darkest of times. I've just repeated that, I've probably over-elaborated, so I do apologise. I do that a lot. So they can't not like you. But I think their instant impression of you is, this is a great person. But is this person got the staying power for our brother, son, cousin, whoever these people are? And I think that may be the only they're feeling when they have that first impression of you. You, I can't think of the word, enterprising. Thank you, Spirit. Today I've had to ask for a lot of help from Spirit, because I'm extremely, extremely tired. Because my neighbours, they're really taking a pee now. They are really taking a pee. But enterprising, you're really enterprising. Their first impression of you is enterprising. Do you know what? And I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's a kind of energy of, this person is either going to make $1 million or end up completely broke. And I love that energy, and it's actually making me smile, because that could be your attitude. It could be a little bit like 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. That kind of energy. But I don't think it's just finances that you have this attitude with it. It's with everything in life. It could be the same with fitness as well. Like, look, I'm going to push myself and push myself and push myself, but if I have a heart attack now, I'm going to die happy. But you're very enterprising. So you're big energy as well. Sorry, I'm feeling your aura now. It's very big, it's very expansive. And I did start the reading off by saying somewhat intimidating as well. Now they can see that there's a mix of both here. Okay, we've got Capricorn energy and Leo energy. Now you could well be a Capricorn or a Leo with a little bit of the other sign in there as well. So a little bit of Capricorn, a little bit of Leo in your chart. We have Leo, which is a fire sign. We have Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign, which are the two elements that I mentioned at the beginning of this reading. Well, yeah, what? The cardinal elements. You know what I mean, guys. I think you have a lot to say and a lot to show when you first meet your future spouse's family. Your confidence is something that stands out, and it's this that makes you larger than life. But I'm still going to stick with that energy. This person's either going to be a millionaire or they're going to end up completely broke. They just haven't had enough information in those first moments when it comes to the foundations of why you have the ambitions that you have and why you have the attitude that you have. At the same time, they can sense a depth with you, but I also feel like they can sense a familiarity. Familiarity? That's the word, isn't it? A familiarity with you. A very deep, emotional familiarity. Damn. I'm going to go in straight on the woo here, but this could be like a same soul tribe kind of scenario. You're part of their soul tribe, but you have been born into another family and you were always supposed to reunite. Wow, this is lovely. I absolutely love this. I even want to say you might remind your future spouse's family of maybe a deceased family member or a living family member. So there's a relatability there as well. And this may be why they instantly have this energy, this person's either going to make $1 million or end up broke, because they've potentially heard stories about one of their family members having this kind of energy about them, or experienced the family member that's living have this happen to them a lot. But I think instantly they trust you because they know that you're a pure soul. They know that there's not a negative bone in your body. They were expecting less than you. They were expecting somebody who had a little less about them. Now, why is this? Spirit, why is this? Is it because the close family to your future spouse, maybe they're the type of people who like to play it safe? Maybe you're coming back into the soul family to teach them, to say, hey, come on guys, let's stop playing it safe. Let's all start working on our dreams. Let's all start saving for that holiday, that dream holiday that none of you ever thought that you were going to go on. Like, you come in with an element of motivation here. But I do think they're expecting less. They're expecting somebody a little bit more placid, maybe, for their future spouse, but not necessarily wanting somebody more placid. It's just what they were expecting. I do think you're going to come in as well, and I think you're going to express the fact that you are quite spiritual quite soon as well. It may literally come out within the first couple of sentences. You may say something that's quite spiritual, and it may raise a few eyebrows. I think they're going to be raised eyebrows of intrigue. And I do think your future spouse may have to step in and go, oh, it's because pawn number one practices Buddhism or something like that, okay? It doesn't have to be Buddhism, but I'm just using that as an example. Okay, so do they approve of you? With the Ace of Swords here, I do take this as a yes. I take it as a very sharp yes though, and the reason I take it as a very sharp yes is because they weren't expecting you to walk in. So it's an instant kind of, oh, this person's got a big aura, oh, this person is a lot, this person has a lot to say, this person is quite overwhelming, their character is very overwhelming. By the way, utilize this if you're not. You have an expansive aura, the kind of aura that makes people stop and listen. If you're watching this and you don't have the confidence to stand up and be heard, try and push those boundaries. I know it's very easy for me to say and push those boundaries, but push those boundaries in a way that's comfortable for you, or at least not too uncomfortable so you crash and burn, okay? Small steps, all right? But if you're not utilizing this big aura that you have, I really feel like you're missing a trick here, because people with an aura like this tend to achieve high levels of success. Something else is coming in now, and I'm just trying to decipher the message because I do apologise, Spirit, I'm a little bit slow today. I feel like I've said this in a previous reading, but I'm going to say it again for this part because it's most probably going to be relevant. But whatever you were put down for as a child, or in your youth, or in your younger years, okay, that is your strength. And the reason that people put you down for that thing or that element or that aspect of you is because it was threatening to them. I'm not going to go too into this because I don't want to complicate my mind today, but I have spoke about this in a previous reading. It is coming back to me now because I'm picking up on the 8th house energy here. Check whether you've got a Capricorn or Leo 8th house. Check whether you have a cardinal 8th house. If you do not have a cardinal 8th house, I will say it again, that's Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. Do not fret, this reading is for you. It's just something I'm picking up on here, but the 8th house is coming in now. We do have Scorpio here on the board actually, which is the ruler of the 8th house. But our power tends to lie hidden in our 8th house, because the 8th house can be deep-seated trauma. It can also be our power. And it's funny how our deep-seated traumas fuel us towards being our most powerful selves. But a lot of the time, for me personally as an astrologer, I always think that you are hiding your power in that 8th house at times if you're somebody who is having difficulties or roadblocks in life. So go back in time. What did people put you down for? That's your strength. Did people put you down because you were speaking truths that made people uncomfortable? Did people put you down because you were taking up too much space? Like, look, that's your power, utilize that. Back to the reading. Ace of Swords. It's a sharp yes. Like, I didn't expect it, but gosh, I like you. I think maybe you could be the person as well who people can't help but like, and I don't know whether I've already mentioned this in this reading already. You'll always win someone over, that's what I said. So it could be an element with some of the family members. I didn't want to like number one. or pile number one. You are number one, by the way, you are number one. Whatever you do in life, you're supposed to be a leader. You're either supposed to be the boss, the frontman or woman, the leader. Teacher comes up as well here, okay? I think your future spouse can be a bit soft, actually. I'm picking up on this now because I think your future spouse had a previous relationship where there was a lot of conflict and they were very much overpowered. And I think because of your future spouse's very soft nature, and I think they could be a water sign or a fixed sign. Water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, I went backwards with that. And fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, double Scorpio here, Taurus and Leo. But I think they could have been overpowered. And I think that's why the family were expecting somebody a little bit more softer, because your future spouse is a little bit more softer. Now, when you come along, they can sense power in your energy. But they can sense that watery underneath. You're very powerful on the outside, but on the inside, you've got a heart of gold. Your heart's in the right place. Leo energy as well. Rules the heart. Everything is fine. Right, in this deck, right, the Witch's Tarot. Gosh, I can't remember today. The facts aren't coming to me today. They've got 2 Ten of Swords. They've got the regular Ten of Swords, and they've also got the Everything is Fine Ten of Swords. Basically telling you that, look, SHIT has happened, but everything is fine, and everything's going to get better from here. Things can't get any worse, it can only get better. Can only get better. I don't know how that song goes. Okay. But I think it's a big relief for them as well, because I think they can sense that things are going to be different with you. It's not going to be a replay of your future spouse's past relationship. The Wheel of Fortune here is here, and the Wheel of Fortune upright is positive fate. Wheel of Fortune in reverse, negative. But that's just my personal read on the Wheel of Fortune, but the Wheel of Fortune in general can be either way. I do definitely feel like there's hope there when it comes to you. I think your future spouse's family are actually expressing like, oh, this is going to be the one, pile number one, who kind of toughens our son or daughter up, gets them on their path, because I do sense a bit of a watery kind of, it's like there's ambition in there when it comes to your future spouse, but they've got a sensitivity. Maybe they've got a bit of Libra in their chart as well. And they let people overpower them. They're a bit of a people pleaser. That's what I'm getting here. They're a people pleaser. And you're there with this like brutal truth. Now you could take advantage of that person, of their son or daughter. Of course you could, then that is on their mind. But on the other hand, you could really help their son or daughter become more assertive. And do they like you? Yes. Yes, they do. Even if they're a little bit scared of you. And this is great as well, because I think so many of us meet the future spouses, or our partners' parents, and have to just be our future spouse, our partner's parents, and we feel like we have to be below them. We feel like we have to be like, hello, yes, mother and father and brother and sister, and I just need them to like me. I don't care what I do, I just need them to like me, because I know that I've been like that in the past. But I feel like in this case, you walk in and you are the one who demands being liked. It's like you walk in and it's like me or dislike me. There's a confidence in that. It's like, even if you dislike me, I'm going to make you like me. It's impossible to not like me. I'm not bad. But you're the one who everyone else has had to go, part number one, oh my gosh, we need to impress part number one. And it's not because like you're egotistical and you need that energy and attention to feel a certain way. It's the fact that you may just be at a stage in your life when you meet your future spouse's family where you're like, do you know what? It is what it is. Now, what they really like about you, the Fool, the fact that you are this free spirit, the fact that anything is possible, the fact that you can put stars in your future spouse's parents and siblings' eyes to say, wow, you know, maybe one day my son or daughter or brother or sister is going to have everything they want with our part number one, because anything is possible with part number one. Our son, daughter, brother, sister, cousin might end up being extremely successful. We may all be able to go around theirs for Christmas and have big Christmas meals in their big house. There's a possibility here that we're going to have some really great offspring because we love our son, daughter, brother, sister, but at the same time, we're really liking what our partner number one here is bringing us. It's like you light them up. If you walked into your future spouse's family's life without your future spouse, just as somebody walks into a coffee shop and gets chatting to them, they're going to like you. They're going to be drawn to you. They're going to want to listen to you. They're going to feel like they're gaining something from being in your presence, and they do. At the same time, the soul, the fool, you're coming in, okay? The fool just walks in the direction that the soul wants to go. The fool is the baby, the newborn teeny weeny baby of the tarot, the baby that comes into the world, and all they bring with them is that soul, that pure soul. That soul holds the key to their destiny. It has all the codes in there to show them where they need to move in this lifetime. And the only reason we have difficulties is because of all of the external clutter that clutters that vision of what our soul wants. And you come in and you inspire. You come in with your own inspiration that you're going to live your wildest dreams, but you also come in with inspiration for your future spouse's family and your future spouse. That there's more to life. There's a soul, it's going to woo woo. There's a soul activation when you enter your future spouse's family's life, because you're the puzzle that's been missing for a very long time, for a whole lifetime. You've been missing for a whole lifetime, and you come in, you slot in, and you bring so much light and joy to your future spouse and their family. And I'm hearing that song again. It only gets better. I'm so out of tone and tune here. So that they like that. They like that. They like you. This is a really positive reading. I'm so glad, because I didn't know what to expect. I mean, this is part number one. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I've got part number 2 and 3 to come. Yeah, but I was praying to Spirit, please make them positive. Please don't bring in any dramas. Although if there are going to be any dramas, we can always recycle it into some kind of positive or inspiration, can't we? I don't know whether that makes sense. I really am channeling today. I'm telling you guys, like, Sarah is not home. What do they dislike about you? Because look, no one's perfect, all right? Look, no one's perfect. And I'm not drunk either. 6 of Wands. I mean, even what they dislike is a flipping compliment. They don't like the fact that potentially you could become so successful and so powerful that you outgrow their son or daughter, brother, sister, cousin. It's a fear that you are too much, that you will leave them high and dry, because you're going places. They're actually going to feel like you're out of your future spouse's league. And it's a little bit sad, because hopefully it's not in a toxic way. Hopefully your future spouse doesn't come from a family where they're constantly putting down your future spouse. But I think it's because you come in with some oomph, some real oomph. And you're like, okay guys, I'm back. And they're like, oh, their souls are like, oh my gosh. Part number 1 is back. Soul activations. I don't know what means here. Let's have a look at what your relationship with your future spouse's family is. What is it going to look like? Okay, what is it going to look like? South Node. There we go. The past life stuff again. It's like you've all been together in a past life before. You're just going to feel like you've known these people for your whole life, and vice versa. And I think you're going to have some very nice, deep conversations with them. I think you're going to find that you're listened to, you're respected within the family. And there's just that familiarity with you again that I need to mention. Now, I do think you will talk and have a very deep relationship with your future spouse's family. The kind of relationship that's really rooted. The kind of relationship that, to be real, if your future spouse ever got with anyone else, and I don't think they will, but this is just an example, no one else will ever live up to you. You will always be the one that got away if you do get away, okay? And I don't think you will, but I'm just saying, okay? I feel like it's an energetic familiarity here. And I really do feel like you're going to be revered. You're going to be, you could have like, there could be like a brother or a sister or a cousin, I'm sensing here, who's very close to you and will come to you constantly for advice. I feel like you're going to really enjoy going to family dinners and things like that as well. It's not going to be a dreaded thing for you. You're going to really enjoy it because you don't get left out. when it comes to your future spouse's family. And I think this goes beyond the close family as well. This is like the distant family, the grandmas, the grandpas, the cousins of cousins. People would think that you are blood related to that family because of how integrated you are and how respected you are in there. And that's absolutely beautiful. I think I'm going to leave that there today because I've kept you for 30 minutes. I really hope this reading helps. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a like and comment down below. Let me know whether you resonate with any aspect of this reading, or just tell me how excited you are to meet your future spouse and their family, because this looks so good. Like, don't worry about it when it comes to meeting your future spouse's family. This is really good. But if you don't feel comfortable to discuss your personal details, don't ever put your personal details down in the comments. If you don't feel comfortable to bare your soul, just let me know what your favourite crystal is. And subscribe if you do like content like this, because I want you to see when I post a brand new pick a card reading, because that's why I do it. I do it so you see it. Alright then, pile number 1. Take care of yourselves. Me and this little man over here, we're going to say bye-bye. Oh, if anyone actually wants to name him as well, name this little guy for me. Comment down below what you think his name should be, and I'll tell my son. He'll love that. And yeah, guys, I shall see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello there, Fabulosa, pile number 2, and I don't know if that made any sense. Today we are looking into how your future spouse's family are going to feel about you. So you chose the Poet here. Now I can definitely sense from this energy that you are somebody who is very well articulated. I also think that you are somebody who is very aware of how other people perceive you. This is giving me heavy Libra energy here, by the way. I do have Libra out on the board twice here as well, but when I saw this card straight up, I was like, this is heavy Libra energy. Now, I do feel like you could be somebody who is very creative as well. Now, your creativity could be through the spoken word. It could be through the written word. And I also feel like this is expressed very visually with you as well. You may like to dress a certain way. You also are going to be somebody who likes to look appropriate at all times. So I can imagine you being somebody who is highly attractive and very calming to be around as well. Now, there was an energy of duality that I was picking up here in this reading, and I feel like I'm speaking to people who may kick themselves at times, in times where they think, oh, I wish I'd spoken up then. I wish I'd stuck up for myself there. And I want to say and point out to you how much strength it takes to hold your tongue. You will always speak up in times where it's necessary. And the times that you have held your tongue in the past have been times where it hasn't even been worth your energy. Or if you had reciprocated the energy would have blown up like a wildfire. Now, this very Libra, fair, considerate, harmonious energy is in your aura. It's an energy that people feel before you even open your mouth. So this is why it is so important to tap into your personal energy before we go into the first impressions that your future spouse's family have about you, because it's that's going to impact them first. It's that energy you have, and it's a beautiful energy. Now, I feel there may be instances when it comes to your future spouse's family where you may question yourself and question your own integrity. And I think this is where that dualism is coming in as well, because I feel like there's going to be certain members in your future spouse's family who are very unhealthy. Maybe they feel a certain way about you because of intimidation, or because they're very empty within themselves. Now, we will get into this further on in the reading, but I do also sense the duality of that as well, is that on the flip side, there are people in your future spouse's family who absolutely adore you, and they lap up that beautiful, harmonious energy that you exude. So when it comes to your future spouse's family's first impressions of you, you bring a sense of calm to them. I feel like you walk in the room and they can take a real deep breath out. They can take a sigh of breath. They can take a sigh of relief. See, we got there in the end. Third time lucky, third time is also a charm, and that is also something else about you. You're incredibly charming. Now, I definitely feel the older members of the family absolutely adoring you, like to a ridiculous point. I think it will even get to the point in the future, I know we're talking about first impressions here, but it'll get to the point in the future where it's your word. that the older members of the family are going to take. So just say the grandparents or the parents. It's going to be you they come to first to gain an opinion before they even go to their son or daughter or grandson or daughter. So I do think that the older people in the family are going to really hold you to a very high regard, because they sense a sensibility in you as well. It's like you are the perfect spouse. You are the perfect spouse for reasons for their son or daughter, grandson, granddaughter, but you're also the perfect spouse when it comes to raising offspring. I think as soon as they see you, the first thing they think is, yes, we want pile number 2 to be the mother or the father to our offspring. It does make me think that your future spouse's family are dying for your future spouse to have kids. I also feel like your future spouse has been single for a very long time before they meet you. And I do think the family were getting a little bit worried, thinking, oh my gosh, is our son, daughter, brother, sister, grandson, granddaughter ever going to settle down? And then you come in and you're just a big massive breath of fresh air for them and a sigh of relief for that reason as well. Now there is something very nurturing about you, something very maternal about you in general. And I do think you enter the room with grace, amazing manners. I sense you coming into a home actually. I can see you walking into the family home. And I do think this family home is the home that your future spouse grew up in as well. So I do sense a lot of stability around your future spouse. And maybe your future spouse had so much stability that they didn't really feel like they needed to flee the nest. Now don't get me wrong, I do think they had fled the nest by the time they'd met you. They did have their own home and their own job, and you know, they looked after themselves. But I do think because they had such a loving family at home, they didn't necessarily feel that they needed any external love outside of the family. Very close-knit family here. But you walk into the family home and straight away you match their stable energy. I can feel jealousy now coming from siblings. So there may be one jealous sibling or 2 jealous siblings. I don't know whether your future spouse has a very strong relationship with one of their siblings. I sense it being a younger sibling as well. And I think there's a little bit of jealousy there because they feel like you're going to take your future spouse away from them. I think also this younger sibling may be the sibling that kind of gets it in the neck a lot in the home. So this is something else I want to mention, because when this does happen, or if this does happen for you, look at the energy from the younger sibling's perspective, because they may be having a bit of a rough time. And there's going to be a deeper reason as to why they're a little bit jealous or maybe a little bit more negative about you. But we'll get into that sibling shortly. But you walk into the family home, and I think something that the family really appreciates is the fact that you'll sit down and you'll have a cup of tea with the family, for instance, but you'll offer to carry the drinks, you'll offer to do the washing up or load the dishwasher. Straight away you're going to be very servitile, is that a word? Servitile to the family. And I do think you're going to resonate with the mother a lot here, actually. I can feel the mother just being like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. She may even say it out loud. I've just looked ahead, one of the future cards, and I'm going to mention this now because I do feel like I could forget by the time I get to this section of the reading here. But I want to say, if this doesn't physically happen, it's taking me back to something that happened to me. If this doesn't physically happen, it's going to be happening very energetically. So it's like you walk in the room for the first time, meeting your future spouse's family, and you either get a standing ovation. Now you could have a very polite standing ovation where the family stand up and shake your hand and the females give you a nice hug and go, it's so lovely to finally meet you. I can definitely hear that as well. It's so lovely to finally meet you. So it makes me think that your future spouse takes this relationship very slow. Again, nothing to be fearful around. I just think they are looking for a certain type of person. Because their family life has been so stable, they won't take any incivility, they won't take any toxicity. But at the same time, because they've never really had like a long-lasting, happy, long-term relationship, they like to take things slow with people just to be sure that they're investing with the right person. But you walk in the room, you get a standing ovation. I also see you walking in the room and getting a clap. Now, the reason I say this is because I look at the judgment card down here, and this is in a different section of the reading, okay, but my eyes went straight to this and it brought me back to a memory of my own, okay, so it does happen. I was seeing a gentleman, I was going to say, I was seeing a gentleman, I don't know who I've turned into. I mean, I'm pure channeling today because Sarah is not home. She's incredibly tired because the neighbours are taking the absolute PISS. And I have asked my guides and ancestors to step in quite a lot today, which is something I don't normally do. I ask them to assist me, but I don't ask them to kind of step into my vessel, because that can be a bit dangerous. But I trust my protective abilities that there's not going to be some nasty something stepping into my energetic realm. But yeah, when I said a gentleman, it just made me think, like, well, as one of my ancestors jumped in and they're like, a gentleman, because I don't call people gentlemen. But I was seeing a guy and we were just seeing each other, we weren't even together. We were just having a lot of sex, alright? And I met his mother. I came back to his house and I met his mother once, and I swear to you, she stood up off the sofa and she just was clapping and looking at me with a massive smile on her face. And she was like, oh, I can't believe it, I'm so happy you're here, I'm so happy that our son has met somebody. And I felt so guilty because we were just doing the deed. But it happens, and I'll never forget that, because it felt really nice to have a standing ovation as I walked into the living room. But I feel this energy with you when you walk in. I actually sense that your future spouse's parents are quite old. They're not young parents. I want to say they're in their 50s, borderline 60s here, okay? Because I do sense them being very grandma and grandpa-ish, even though they're mummy and daddy. Mummy and daddy, I don't know why I just said that as well, even though they're mum and dad. But I think it's because, I think they're at the point in their life where they're like, you need to bring us grandkids. Like, we don't have long left, even though they most probably do have, you know, a fair amount of time left, but they're worrying. This made me think that they're worriers as well. Bless them. And you come in and you have this really calming energy that, like, calms the whole situation, calms, like, maybe the warrior mother, the mother who worries. But straight up, you just have great communication with them. You're on the level with them. They're lovely and stable. They don't throw you off balance. I do sense that one sibling though, okay? That there's that one sibling who's a little bit about you. And I do think that energy is like an element of mistrust. I think they don't trust you. I think they don't trust that you can be so nice. But it could also be the fact that they'll pull on anything to make sure that the attention doesn't go off them onto you. Okay, do they approve of you? Do they approve? Well, I can give you a massive hell yes for the approval, for sure. Other than that one younger sibling that I am feeling here. Now, I do feel like when this younger sibling grows up a little bit more, matures a little bit more, I do see this all settling down. And I actually do sense you guys saying, I can't believe, I can sense the younger sibling saying something along the lines, I can't believe that we never got on. And that really tells me that you guys are going to really connect maybe 3 years down the line, I want to say, after you actually marry your future spouse. And I know that sounds like a very long way down the line, but I also sense some distance here as well. You're not going to live in the same town as your future spouse's family. You're going to live at a distance. So these aren't people that you're going to pop over to have a cup of tea with every Tuesday. These are people that you will see on special occasions, and you may spend like a weekend up there, up at the future spouse's parents' house or whatever, when you want to go and visit their area. I do sense a lot of countryside around your future spouse's family as well. So they may live in the countryside, and that might be why you go and stay up there for weekends, because it's just a really nice place to visit. But I do sense a bit of distance here, and that is the halting energy between you and this younger sibling. But you will get to really like each other, and I do think you will end up being really good friends. I don't know whether you are significantly younger than your future spouse as well, because I sense your energy being a lot more in line with the age kind of energy of you, being a lot more in line with this younger sibling. I do feel like this younger sibling's like a few years younger than you, but you're more in the younger sibling's generation. And I think your future spouse could be in the next generation up. Now don't worry, I'm not saying there's like 40 years between you or anything like that, because I had a boyfriend previously where when I met him, I was 23 and he was 27 when I met him. So not a lot of years between us, but he slipped into the generation above me. So we had like a little bit of like a difference in generation in that way, even though we were virtually in the same age, both in our 20s. I don't know why that was so hard for me to kind of no, I haven't been possessed, okay? Don't call Ghostbusters. But I sense that your future spouse is a bit older as well, and maybe that's why this younger sibling has a bit of mistrust as well, because they might think that you might be I'm sorry guys, I'm hearing gold digger now as well, but I sense it being laughable. So I sense the younger sibling maybe mentioning this to your future spouse or mentioning this to the parents, and it just being a massive laughable statement to make, just like, oh my god. Because first up, your future spouse has stability and things like that. They've come from a very stable family, so they've gained their own stability, and they've also been gifted a lot of stability as well, I think. But you've not came in as a pauper. Like, you've came in with your own stability and probably a job that you use your voice with quite prominently. I don't know whether you're going to be like a published author. I don't know whether you work in like law. With this partner as well, I also sense a lot of eyes on you too. So I don't know whether you're so strong within the field that you work in that you transition and evolve to traveling to speak about what it is that you do. It could be evolving from a what am I thinking here? Evolving from a tradition, I keep thinking, profession. Tradition's coming in very strongly, so we're going to go on to tradition in a minute, but it could be you evolving from a profession into becoming a tutor, a teacher. Gaining a doctorate is something I'm hearing as well here. If anyone here is working towards a doctorate or they want to in the future, yeah, it looks like you're going to achieve that. TED Talks. TED Talks is coming into this as well, so I don't know whether you are going to somebody who's wanted to maybe apply for TED Talks or something like that. TED Talks is red as well, and I'm seeing the red here in the poet card, the colour red, TED Talks. But yeah, as I said, when it comes to you, they approve. And they really like you. And I think when it comes to this younger sibling, they really like you too. They're just really intimidated by the fact that you're so likeable. But standing ovation for you. And also with the Eight of Swords in reverse, it's like you free them from their son or daughter. Because I think that they have been worried about your future spouse for some time. And all of a sudden it's no longer, our son or daughter, or whoever your future spouse is to your family. They were probably thinking, well, we're never going to have grandkids. We're never going to be able to attend a wedding. Your future spouse's mother was probably putting the hat back in the attic. The wedding hat, that is, because I like to wear a wedding hat. And also probably thinking, great, we're always going to be responsible for this child. And anyone who doesn't have kids, right? Look. Us parents, we love our children. We have them because we love them. And it's hard flipping work. So it's just bad me saying this, we are looking forward to when they flee the nest. Okay? When we no longer have to worry about them, because it takes a lot of energy to worry about a child, a lot of energy. And that's what your future spouse's parents are thinking, like, we're worried about our son or daughter because we need someone to take our place and make them happy and love them and nourish them, because we can't keep doing this. And I think as well, your future spouse parents, like, we don't know how much longer we've got here. We can't leave them alone on this earth. So you really do open up their prospects. And the Empress here, I think they think that you're very attractive. I think I think some fathers and uncles as well are going to have a little thingy thing for you. But the big thing about the Empress is, normally the Empress is pregnant in the traditional tarot deck. This Empress isn't pregnant, she's bearing a beautiful stomach, but she could be pregnant, we just don't know about it. It could be early days, all right? It could be early days in the pregnancy. But they're like, finally, we're going to get our grandkids. And it may be one of the first questions they ask you, like, do you want children? So they do. They approve and they do like you, and that's absolutely wonderful. Just, you're going to make friends with this sibling, all right, at some point, but just not straight away. So What do they like and what do they dislike about you, okay? Because no one's perfect, all right? No one's perfect. What they like about you is you are very fair. You are, again, I'm hearing law again as well. So I don't know whether this is law in general, you work within the law sector, or whether this is you creating peace, and fairness wherever you go. Now, I do also want to say here, there's something about you vocally and sticking up for what's right at all times, which really allows the mother to free herself from something. Now, I don't know whether you're having this issue with the younger sibling because maybe you're speaking a few truths about this sibling. Maybe the sibling still lives with their parents, and maybe the sibling still expects the mother to cook for them and things like that, and you come and you're like, I don't know if really that's your job anymore. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I sense you speaking up in a very nice and fair way. But I sense you actually bringing strength to some of the family members because you're not afraid to speak up about things. And this is where I want to say, like, you're not a wallflower. And if you do feel like a wallflower now, you are going to build that strength. You're going to reach a point in your journey where you're like, right, do you know what? It means more for me to speak up for myself here. And whenever you've kept quiet, it's been through strength, okay? Because you have a way of saying what's right and what's true and what's just without making it sound mean or gossipy. This is something they really like about you. At the same time, there's a lot of balance within you. They like the fact that you're so well balanced. They like the fact that you're so focused as well. And I do think your future spouse's family see you as a gift. I think they do feel like your future spouse has hit the jackpot with you. They trust you as well. There's a level of trust there. They know that you're not going to do anything sneaky. They know that you're not going to go behind your future spouse's back. You stabilize them. They feel stable feelings around you. Now, what do they dislike? Queen of Swords. And what's really interesting here is these are both Libra cards. So it makes me think, wherever you have Libra in your chart, and we all do, because if you don't have any planets in there, it'll rule a house. Even though me personally, Libra's intersected with no planets, so it kind of doesn't rule a house, but you can look at the Placidus chart where you will have intersections and duplications, okay? That's when you've got double of a sign in your chart and you're missing signs in your chart. And then you can look at the whole sign. The whole sign chart, for me personally, is an external view into your energy. Placidus chart is your internal world. Whole sign chart, external world. And that's why the whole sign chart is very beneficial when it comes to predicting external things, predicting things that are happening externally, world events as well, and things like that, but even your own personal events. So look where you have Libra in your chart, or what planets you have in Libra, because I think you're so likable, it's very hard for them to dislike something about you. But I think at times, when you do speak your truth, I think at times they need some time to mull over the truth that you're speaking. So for them, there may be a little bit of a back and forth. So for example, just say that you have said, oh, you know, my future spouse's siblings should not still be expecting you to do their washing and their food and things like that. I can see that you're tired out, da, 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 da. They may go somewhere else, maybe to the husband or to a sister or another family member, and say, Paul number 2 said this, and I don't know what to think about it, and what do you think? What's your opinion? So I think at times when you're very blunt with what you say, I think at times they may kind of be hit with that bluntness and be like, oh, I don't know what I think about this. So there may be a level of you being so well-spoken, articulated, and strong within your word that at times it may overpower a more sensitive energy than yourself. And I do think you are very sensitive. I think you are very emotional and empathic, but I do sense a lot of very softy, kind of worrying kind of energies when it comes to your future spouse's family. And sometimes you come in and you're like, right, I'm going to have to take order here because I can see things are getting a little bit difficult in the future spouse household, and I want some peace and harmony. If I'm gonna have a holiday and stay in this house for the weekend, I want to stay in a peaceful house. I don't want to stay in a house where there's arguing and where your future spouse's mother and father aren't happy for whatever reason. Hey guys, so this Mercury retrograde has really kicked me in the A double dollar sign. Mercury retrogrades don't normally affect me that much because I was born in a Mercury retrograde. I know it says a lot, doesn't it? But I did lose about 4 minutes of your reading along with the outro, so I'm going to relay the information that I remember from those last 4 minutes, and then I'm going to pop you over to an alternative outro from another one of the piles. So I did feel a very big energy shift when it comes to you having children with your future spouse. And bear in mind, if you're not conceiving naturally, I do see a very strong possibility of adoption here. I remember laughing at the end of this reading because it really felt like mafia mother of the family. So I feel like you're going to step up to being the main bitch in the family. I also sensed a very strong bond with your future spouse's sibling as well, the sibling that had a few issues around you. And I did see you guys hanging out with each other. I saw you guys shopping with each other, going to spas with each other and things like that. So I do feel like you will bond with that sibling eventually. Now, I did also pick up on you making a lot of career moves after having children as well. And whilst being at home with the children, you may have a feeling of, okay, what do I want to do now? Where do I want to go now? It's like you gain an extra element of freedom after you have children to make those moves that you want to make in life. And you could well study for that doctorate, or you could well build your confidence when it comes around your communication and shoot for the stars when it comes to whatever it is that you want to do as a career. So that literally was everything I gathered in that short bit of footage that I lost. I know, how annoying. That was literally it, a couple of minutes. But I'm going to send you now to an alternative outro so that I can say a proper goodbye. And don't be alarmed if the cards on the table have changed. It's just because it was one of the other piles. So yeah. I think I'm going to leave that there today because I've kept you for 30 minutes. I really hope this reading helps. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a like and comment down below. Let me know whether you resonate with any aspect of this reading. But if you don't feel comfortable to discuss your personal details, don't ever put your personal details down in the comments. If you don't feel comfortable to bare your soul, just let me know what your favourite crystal is. And subscribe if you do like content like this, because I want you to see when I post a brand new pick a card reading, because that's why I do it. I do it so you see it. Alright then, pile number 1. Take care of yourselves. Me and this little man over here, we're going to say bye-bye. Oh, if anyone actually wants to name him as well, name this little guy for me. Comment down below what you think his name should be and I'll tell my son. He'll love that. And yeah, guys, I shall see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, my utterly perfect pile number 3s. Welcome to your reading, and let's find out how your future spouse's family will feel about you. So you chose the Judge card. Now, I do sense from this energy that you could be somebody who's faced a lot of misjudgment in the past. I feel like you could be the kind of person where people can get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to your energy just because you exude so much power. I can definitely sense from this energy you are somebody who has built their power through working through hard times. So I don't necessarily feel like life has been particularly easy for you, pile number 3s. I don't necessarily feel like you hold any grudges around what you've been through, but I do feel like you hold a lot of power because of that, and also a lot of life knowledge, common sense. I also feel like you're the kind of person who sticks up for the underdog as well. And I also feel like you're the type of person who doesn't take SHIT lying down. Now I feel the Judge comes in here with the scales here because I do feel like you're very fair with where you exert that power. You're not the kind of person to throw the power that you have around. You're the type of person to only show that power when it's necessary. I can imagine you being like a lovely little husky, for instance, a beautiful husky, beautiful fur. By the way, I'm not calling you a dog, pile number 3, but beautiful fur, lovely, like blue, sweet husky eyes. You know when you see a husky and you think, I just want to cuddle that husky, and you forget that that husky has extremely sharp teeth. That's you. Day to day, you can be misunderstood because you walk around like this lovely, cuddly, sweet person. Yet when someone crosses you, you show those teeth, and people just don't realize that that's in you, but you're not hiding that more powerful side of you because you've got anything to be ashamed of. You hide it because you know that it's only necessary when it's needed, and I don't think you actually enjoy exuding that power. You know, when you've got people who fake power, they tend to be the ones who throw it around. Now, with you, it's different. You don't need to throw it around because it's naturally ingrained within you. I want you to have a look and see where you have Pluto in your chart. You may have a Pluto conjunct Moon, Pluto conjunct Sun, Pluto conjunct the midheaven, Pluto conjunct the ascendant. Because I do feel like there could be some very heavy Pluto in your chart. Now, you could be a Scorpio rising as well. You could actually be a Scorpio. You could even be a Scorpio moon. Scorpio moons, that is a big placement for this, because you could have like a Libra sun, for instance. That's very fair, bites its tongue, and then you're harboring this Scorpio moon inside, this fierce Scorpio moon that once triggered, that's when you'll use your power. That's when your power will come out. And people don't expect it from you. But I really love this about your energy as well. I definitely feel if you're somebody watching this who hasn't reached high levels of power, and this could be within social status, it could be within career, it could be within your own family even, it could be within this family, we don't know yet. You will. You will, because you naturally have it within you and you naturally magnetize power. Now, you could also be somebody who attracts a lot of powerful people as well. And I do feel for this part, maybe in your younger years, maybe in your younger years, you found that you attracted these powerful people who really tried to overpower you. And they only overpowered you because at this point in your younger years, you hadn't discovered the intense power within you, or you may have been scared about the power that lived within you, so you held it down even when it was necessary for it to come out. I do apologise, part number 3, I may be stuttering my words today. I'm incredibly tired. I've said this for every part. I'm incredibly tired. The neighbours are taking the absolute PISS. They're extremely loud and it's keeping me up at ridiculous times. So I do apologise, I'm very tired, but I have the assistance of my ancestors and my guides, so we're going to get through this, all right? Because we're going to get through this. Yes, we're going to get through this. Daniel Bedingfield, we're going to get through this. Like, what a jam. Now, it does make me think that potentially that song will be pertaining to this reading in some way, because it's like, you've got to get through this. And that this could be someone or something, okay? So you've got to get through this. So what are your future spouse's family's first impressions of you? And the reason I did mention your energy first is because the energy that I mentioned at the start of the reading is your energy field. It lives within your aura. And when your future spouse's family have their first impressions of you, it's that aura and that energy within that aura that they're going to pick up on first. So they're going to feel this internal power within you. And so they do. Now, I'm going to say to begin with, I sense a lot of fatherly energy here. I don't sense a lot of motherly energy. Now, I don't know whether the mother is deceased or whether the mother is very quiet within the family and maybe the father is the one who calls the shots. It's giving me very old school kind of father runs the show, father runs the household, father calls all the shots kind of energy. So I don't know whether the father, and I do apologise guys, I don't know whether the father's a bit misogynistic here, because there's definitely some kind of energy with the father. Now, I do feel like you come in, and I want to say, if you're masculine watching this, the father is hella intimidated by you, like ridiculously intimidated by you. And if you're a feminine watching this, you harbour a nice mix of masculine and feminine energy within you. You definitely have that masculine side to you, and you have it in like on point, okay? And it's that aspect of you that really gets the father's goat, I want to say, gets the father's goat. Now, it's making me think of the phrase, the goat. And I don't know whether your future spouse's father considers themselves as the goat, maybe thinks of themselves in very high regard. And as soon as somebody else comes in showing true signs of being, a master in their profession, being an OG in their profession as well, because I'm sure that's what the goat phrase means. I'm not quite with it with these new phrases, by the way, but I'm sure it means like the best in their profession, someone who goes down in history. So when someone walks in with that real life powerful energy that the goat represents, it makes the fake goat, so the father, and I do apologise to your future spouse's father in advance, but I've got to pull him out on this. I'm sensing this so strongly. I also want to say, this could be flipped, this could be the mother, but if this is the mother here that you're dealing with, the mother has heavy, heavy, heavy masculine energy. And I want to say a very bitter woman as well, maybe a divorcee, because I'm sensing a lot of unison when it comes to the energy, which makes me think that the parents either may not be together, one may be deceased, or one may be very quiet because they just want an easy life. But when the real deal walks in, and I'm going to say the father here for this, okay, so I'm not complicating things, but please make it fit for you. But when the real deal walks in, this parent, this father, this parent, or mother, I say parent instead of father actually, this parent is like, oh, it really, really triggers them because there's something triggering about you. Now, I also want to say that this parent may probe you for a lot of questions as well on first impression. They want to know more about you. And I want to say on first impression, they're going to sound very intrigued by you as well. They're going to be like, yes, tell me more. What about this? What about that? Because they're really trying to eye you up. This is very jungle kind of energy, like two lions eyeing each other up in the savannah. Are lions from the savannah? I'm sure they are, aren't they? Correct me if I'm wrong. But two lions eyeing each other up. So they want to find your weaknesses very quickly. It makes me think that this parent as well, and I'm sorry, I'm really smacking down on this parent. It makes me think that this parent doesn't really have much of a life. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have like a job that they go to or a social life or anything that they find interesting or any hobbies. It's more the fact that this parent has there's like a simplicity to them. It's like they're very simple, but they want to be more, they want to be bigger, they want to be bolder, but they're just very simple. So you walking in and potentially taking their crown is a big deal for them. It becomes a very big part of their life. I think instantly they're going to feel like you're hiding something with the moon here. They're going to feel like there's something that you are hiding about yourself, and it may be that they express this. Maybe when you leave, they'll mention to your future spouse, yeah, I like pile number 3, but I feel like there's something a little bit untrustworthy about them. Potentially that will be what comes out their mouth. Now, make that phrase work for you, because it could be anything about there being something unknown about you. Maybe you don't know everything about pile number 3, and your future spouse is like, what in the F are you even on about? And the reason it doesn't make much sense to the people around is because it doesn't make any sense at all, because your future spouse's parent is saying this because they're trying to take you off your pedestal, take the crown off you and back onto them. Now I do feel like this is going to develop into a resolution. I do feel like this is all going to be cleared and everything will be fine, but this is the instant you meet your future spouse's family, okay? This is the first impressions, and you're more than likely not even married to your future spouse at this point. But the family feel a fire that burns within you. The family feel that you have a very expansive energy. The family hear your voice and they know that you're a force not to be reckoned with. It's just all about power here. Now, I don't mean to be creepy, but I am going to be creepy. For anyone who is the opposite gender of the parent in question, and I'm going to say this from a female's perspective here, so me as a female, I'll be talking about the father of my future spouse. The parent in question, you either resemble their mother. This is going to sound really creepy now, guys. Really creepy. I'm so sorry. You resemble somebody that they know. Could be the mother, more than likely not the mother. It could be their own spouse. It could be a relationship that they had in their early years. But there's something about your energy that they are highly attracted to as well. Maybe this is what the triggering really is underneath it all. I can actually feel some people cringing, and I'm like cringing a little bit here. But your future spouse's parent in question is highly attracted to you. Now, I would normally say this is on an SE-actual level, but it ain't. It ain't. I don't feel SEX in this energy. I feel a soul connection and I feel an emotional connection. My goodness gracious, this could be love. It could be love, love, love. That was that tune. Down, down. That's literally like down, down. Like, oh my gosh, what? You love me? Down, down. I've gone speechless. So there's going to be an element of competition between you both. But at times you may find that the competition gets a little bit arousing or there's an arousal there. And I do think you're going to feel this. I do think you're going to feel this as time goes by. But yeah, there's an attraction there. Now, if there is another parent here that is, you know, married or in a relationship with your future spouse's parent in question, it's getting very confusing. I think they either don't notice this because they're so disconnected. Maybe they're busy doing their own thing. Maybe they're just a very quiet, you know, quiet person. It's not going to be an issue. It's not going to come up. There's not going to be like a family row because somebody's in love with their son or daughter's spouse. I feel like the other parent is kind of out of it for some reason. Maybe doesn't notice or just doesn't care or thinks it's just silly. And I think if there is another parent present, they kind of try to calm down this parent in question that may have a bit of about you. Next up, do they approve of you? This one's juicy, isn't it? This one's a bit more juicy than the other two piles. Do they approve of you? Now, dual energy here. You had more cards out than the other piles as well, which tells me that your situation is a little bit more complex than the other piles were. Okay, you've got two extra cards, sorry. So it definitely looks here that there may be a little hang up about your future spouse's ex, or maybe who they expected your future spouse to be with. Please don't be offended by this, because if this is an expectation of who their future spouse would be with, it's the expectation from one of the parents that their son or daughter would be with somebody who was a bit more melancholy. Melancholy is what's coming to my head right now. I don't use that word. I don't know what it means. But in layman's terms, I don't use that phrase either, but in layman's terms, I'm not crying, I'm just very confused today because I really don't feel like, I don't feel like it's me here. So at times I'm questioning a lot of what I'm saying, but I shouldn't. Spirit is like, stop gritting it, just say it. But we'll continue. In layman's terms, somebody who is like a bit of someone who can be controlled. Someone who can be controlled, someone who's very emotional is what I'm saying as well. Maybe the other parent in question is very emotional, is very easily influenced is what I'm getting here as well. Maybe they felt like your future spouse would be with somebody who could be more easily influenced. There we go, we finally got there. So bear in mind, this is only an expression of your power. I want to say you're a lot more mature than this parent in question as well. A lot more mature, more life experience, even though you could be half the age. Or it could be an ex of your future spouse that they just always thought was supposed to be the one, supposed to be the spouse, supposed to be the mother or father of their children, and they just can't get over it. But what they don't see is that this hand of God coming in here, okay, behind this lady, she's staring at these three cups. It's like the parents staring at the ex. And I do sense this being quite a small family as well. I don't sense your future spouse having a massive family. There could be siblings, there could be cousins, but they either don't live locally or they're a very distant family. There's distance in the family, okay? Because I'm really sensing one parent in particular and potentially another parent who's very quiet or not there for some reason. But it's like they're constantly staring at this thing in the past. or they're stirring up their expectations. But what they don't see is the hand of God is bringing you in. You are divinely guided towards your future spouse. You're good for your future spouse. You're healthy for your future spouse. You've got so much to teach your future spouse on a soul level, and they're just not seeing that because they can't go that deep. And I'm saying they now, but I really do feel it's majoritively this one parent, and maybe the other parent just follows, but maybe their opinion is never heard. And strength. There's an ego here, and I think that's this parent in question. Do they approve? One of them doesn't approve. I'm going to be real with you, with the devil here and the emperor. One of them doesn't approve. But the great thing about that, with the devil being coming out, they don't disapprove because you are a pile of bollocks. They don't disapprove because of their own toxicity that lives within them. When we think about the devil, it's like constraints, addictions. Maybe this parent has addictions. Maybe this parent has addictions to sex because they find you very attractive on an emotional level. It's not just sex with you, I'm telling you. They need to be in control of everything as well. Maybe this parent needs to be in control of everything, and maybe that's why this other parent is very quiet. But I feel like I'm going around in circles now, so I'm just going to continue going. But they could have addictions to alcohol, drugs, and as I said, addictions to certain behaviours. There's toxicity that lives within them. So whatever their opinion is, it's just not, it's the goat's head on top of the devil as well. The goat's head. They think that they're the goat, but really they're the devil. Interesting. And this is you here with the goat's horns, the ram's horns, sorry, it's the rams, I do apologise, as the emperor. Clean. Look at the difference between the emperor and the devil. That's the difference between you and your future spouse's parent in question. Massive difference. You're in control here as the emperor. They have to control to feel in control. And one of the things that they're trying to control is your future spouse and their decisions. But they're not controlling it from a healthy mind. They're controlling your future spouse from a toxic mind. So what they're saying and what their opinion is of you is absolutely null and invalid. And as I look at the charge on my camera on my little screen here to see whether I'm in focus and stuff, we've got 66. Now 666 in particular is, you know, the sign of the devil. It's a stamp of the devil. But in all honesty, it's not really. 666 is the number of the sun, the soul. So it's actually a positive number. But I just thought it was quite interesting how I was just saying that, and I saw the sixes on the screen as a bit of confirmation here. Now I did pull an extra card for you guys because I did want to know what the other party felt like, what the rest of the family felt about you, because this person's opinion seems to be overpowering the situation just because they are the one in power. But how does the rest of the family feel about you? And it's really nice. Justice. They feel like you are well balanced. They feel like you are karmically a positive influence for their son, brother, sister, cousin, whoever these family members may be. They feel like you are a positive karmic influence. I think they feel like you're a very attractive person as well. And I say that because justice represents Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. I think they think that you're a very well presented person. Not that you need to hear that, but that was just coming up. They feel like you're very well presented. The attractiveness is going to be a thing that people notice about you in the family, because obviously the devil's noticed it about you, and they would most probably be with you if they were, I don't know, 30 years younger and weren't married, or in a situation where they couldn't access you, which is just absolutely crazy. The drama in this one. I love it. They think you're very fair as well, so I don't know whether you've spoken up a lot in this family, or whether you've even spoken up in the first meeting with the family, or because I think that what you say is very fair. They feel like you're very well articulated, very trustworthy as well. So they actually don't feel the same way as this parent in question at all. I just don't think they're standing up for what's right, at least at the beginning. Okay. But they do like you. This is the thing. This parent in question doesn't approve, but they do like you. They're intimidated, they're attracted. If this parent in question met you outside of this relationship with your future spouse, they would be in awe of you. I'm going to say borderline obsessed, actually. It's creepy, innit? It's creepy, but we're going there. Borderline obsessed. Do you know what I can see? And this is why I'm saying the word obsessed, and this might give you an idea of what I mean. I'm just going to use like a female again from my perspective. So if you're a masculine, this can happen to you with an older female. Or same gender, it depends, you know, what you're into. But as me as a female, a straight female, it's like me going to work. I'll say work. Me going to work as a female, and there is a masculine there who is double my age. Don't necessarily need to be a boss, they can be a colleague. They take a fondness to me because I remind them of maybe someone in their youth, or maybe they're attracted to me because they do think, oh, if I was half my age, I would be with this person. I would actually have a relationship with this person and pursue this person. And they may be very jealous in the workplace when people my age try and pursue me. And that's why I'm getting obsession here. If they knew you outside of this relationship, you're the kind of person that they'd probably go weak for and do anything for. And this is so weird, I'm sorry. It's so weird. But I hope you like weird on this channel, okay? Now, and as well, the other family members, which are represented by the Justice card, yeah, they like you. They do like you. They think you're actually really well balanced and a great match. Yeah, just as about balance. It's about balance. They think you and your future spouse are well balanced. You mirror each other. You're good for each other. They like you. They like you. They like you. I had to say it 3 times, and 3 times, oh, I'm not going to do it. They always say the number 3 can be representative of the devil. They say 3 knocks is the knock of the devil, okay, and I said it 3 times. They like you, they like you, they like you, okay. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go into what they like and what they dislike about you. It feels like we've already done this here, but we're going to do it again, all right, because it's in my notes, right, and I've got to stick to it. Capricorn rising here, guys. Capricorn stellium, actually. I've got to stick to my flipping notes. So what they like about you. How gorgeous is this? And this just proves your authentic character. The sun. They like the fact that you go through life fearless. You move through life positive, with optimism. You light up their son, daughter, brother, sister, cousin. They can see the happiness that you bring, and they love that about you. I think you're also somebody who illuminates the truth, especially at times where it's necessary. And I do think you may have actually said things or illuminated dark aspects of this parent in question, the devil, okay? And I think it's brought a lot of light and clarity to other family members. Maybe even a little bit of a saviour energy, because I just heard the word saviour. There's something very freeing about you. You fight for your own freedom, and you fight for other people's freedom as well. And they really appreciate that about you. I also want to say you show this parent in question. So I'm getting the message through, but I'm struggling to decipher it. I'm getting the energy, I'm struggling to put it into words. Lead by example is what I'm hearing. You lead by example. So you show this parent in question, the devil energy, how to live their life through setting an example, whether that example be through yourself or whether that be through your future spouse. And I want to say this is only relevant with the future spouse side of things if your future spouse is the same gender as the parent in question. Otherwise, it's you that leads by example. So just say you are a female and you are dealing with the mother, the parent in question is the mother and she's the devil. You lead by example. And as I said, there's something about you being like half the age of this person and being a lot more mature. People see that. People see that about you. This person here, Mr. Devil, does not want to see it. Or Mrs. Devil. They do not want to see it. They can't see it because if they don't see it, they're going to lose their goat status. Well, guess what? They ain't got it anyway. It's not theirs. So, what do they dislike about you? Because nobody's perfect. Although, did I start the reading saying perfect pile number 3? I have a feeling I did, and if I didn't, I'm hearing perfect pile number 3 right now. So, I'm not surprised. look, no one is perfect, okay? No one is perfect. We all know this, okay? But I think you can come across as perfect. And I think a lot of people may, and I did say at the beginning, people get the wrong end of the stick with you at times. I think a lot of people feel like you're either privileged, or that you're perfect, or that you always achieve everything you want to achieve. It's like this level of perfection about you that people think, oh my gosh, why is pile number 3 so perfect? And it's not necessarily because you are perfect, no offense. It's because you have the power and the determination to always strive to do your best. And your best is always very close to perfect because you put the effort in. There's a lot of jealousy around you in general, even beyond this. I don't know why I keep pulling this. Even beyond this. There's a lot of jealousy around you. But they're not jealous because... They're jealous because you expose them, Sun again, you expose their weaknesses by expressing your strengths, and I love that about you. Absolutely love it. Do you know what? Everything I do sounds patronising because I'm an Aries Mercury, but I'm not being patronising, I'm being serious. So if we could all, right, pile number 3 is watching this. You know, if you have achieved stuff, if you are always striving to do your best, if you have fought through hard times and you've recycled those rough waters, I'm thinking rough waters, recycling rough waters into power, actual power, water energy, Aquarius energy. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I think Sarah's just came into the vessel and the spirit guide's like, get out, get out. She's too tired for this. But if you've strived through the hard times and recycled that energy into power, I want us all together to put our hands together and give ourselves a clap. Give you a clap, give me a clap, give everyone who's watching pile number 3 a clap. So let's do that now, okay? Let's take a moment. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Winners. Okay. What do they dislike about you? I feel multiple things coming from these 2 cards here, okay? So we've got the 7 of Cups and the Star. I feel like there's multiple things. One of the things is standing out to me straight away. Sorry, I wasn't showing the cards in the right place. I do apologise. And I can feel other things trying to come through, and I really hope they come through by the time I finish this first explanation. Because they're there, the energy's there, but it's just not coming out of the mouth. I feel like you're multi-talented and multifaceted. There is no end to what you can achieve. When they think they've seen it all, something else comes out. They think it's all over, well it is now. They think it's all over, well it is now. Ah, yeah. Yeah, okay, I've got the second one now. I understand why I got that phrase coming through. Okay, keep that in my mind, keep it in my mind, stay in the mind. Do you know what, I'm going to go to the second one first because that one might slip out of my mind again. Okay, that's just me being my human worrying self. They think it's all over, well it is now. I don't know whether you aren't too hooked on marriage. I don't know whether you aren't too hooked on having kids. I feel like there is a chance that they do not like the fact that you are very stern about what you see for your future and you're not very rigid with that. Or not very fluid with that. And again, it's this control thing with this parent. They want what they want from their son or daughter. And you come in with some strict rules that may be against their narrative. And you win as well. You win because your future spouse takes your word over theirs. Because your future spouse knows that this parent is toxic, by the way. It's not really a surprise to them that their parent is toxic. I also think there's another little part of this as well, is the fact that they don't like that you're taken by their son or daughter, that you are no longer an option. But then also, the third thing is that, and this is what's going into before, you're multi-talented, you're multifaceted, you're a star. And I'm looking at the star card in the literal sense of you being a star that shines bright. And this intimidates the crap out of this parent. I've repeated it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. A lot of threes in this. Okay, a lot of threes. I don't know whether the number 3 has been following you around recently, or whether it is a representative of this more negative energy here. You're the real deal. You're the real McCoy. They don't like that. And what's beautiful about this is what they don't like about you is your strengths. The things that make you a star, the things that make you stand out, the things that warrant your own freedom. And that could be through marriage and maybe even not wanting children, for instance, because you want to be free. You're a free soul. You don't need that restriction to prove that you're in love with their son or daughter. Maybe they don't like the fact that you're so free because they either gave up on their freedom or they can't be free for one reason or another, because the devil, look at the chains on there. They don't like the freedom that you express and that you have. And the sun also represents freedom. It's jealousy here, pure jealousy. So let's have a look into how this relationship with your future spouse's family is going to progress. And this is really gorgeous. Okay, so interestingly, when I rolled these dice, the first thing that I rolled was the South Node. And then I accidentally, I think I reached over for something, and then it flipped over to the Moon. And what this told me is you are going to gain the respect from this parent in question. Eventually, you really, really are. And I'm not just saying this because I have to end on a good note. You really are. But you've just got some South Node past stuff. I've gone into you premature. You've just got some stuff to work through first. Now, the reason I think there's these major triggers here, and I've said this for pile 1, but in a different context, and I'm going to say it here, I'm going to go in, I'm going to ride on the woo. There's some past life connection between you and this parent. Now look, we all have a soul family. There's a soul cluster up above in the heavens. And I'm just going to say this in the most simple terms, but we could all be sitting round a table, our soul cluster. And we can say, okay guys, we're all going to be going down within like a 40-year span. What roles are we going to play? Are you going to be the father? You're going to be the father, you're going to be the mother, and you're going to be the father and the mother of this soul over here? Yes, okay. Right, well, why don't I be the wife or the husband of your child here? Yeah, brilliant, so I'll play that role, great. Okay, yeah, so you're going to be my mom, and then you'll get, okay, do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so you all come from the same soul cluster, and you all decide each lifetime that that particular cluster comes down, what roles you're going to play. So what I'm trying to say here is you are from the same soul cluster as your future spouse's parent in question. You have had multiple lives together. Now, I'm going to be, again, cringy and disgusting. But I've got to say what I see, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to say what I see. Pisces energy. Pisces energy. Pisces. Yeah, that's Pisces and not Neptune there. Pisces rules Neptune. Neptune is the planet that represents Pisces. They both represent the 12th house. The 12th house represents past lives. Okay, past lives. South Node, which flipped first, past lives. All right, this is why I'm getting this. Okay, it's not just coming out my arse. 7th house, relationships, past life relationship. You're in a bloody past life relationship with your future spouse's parent. I just don't know how you're going to take this. Now, it doesn't have to be, alright? I'm going to put in another scenario. My eyes are watering a bit now. I'm going to put in another scenario. It could be the same family. So this person, this parent in question, could have been a brother or a sister. We'll even push the business partner here as well. 7th house as well can represent your second child. So you could have been your future spouse's parent in question's second child at some point, or they could have been your second child at some point as well, okay? So it doesn't just have to be that relationship thing, okay? Always going to throw out other aspects and other perspectives for you, because it is a collective reading, we're all different, all right? But very strongly coming with that relationship thing. Okay, I'm going to end it there, right? Thanks. Okay then, pile number 3. I'm going to leave you with that cringy thought. Comment down below if you resonate. That's my stomach rumbling as well now. But yeah, if you did like this reading, even if you thought it was entertaining because of the crazy SHIT that ended up coming up, please drop me a like, please. And also, if you do resonate with this reading in any way whatsoever, or you just want to comment on the fact that you're like, ew, ew, just do it. Just comment down below, just do it. I don't care if I've just got about like 20 comments just going, ew. And also, if you don't feel comfortable to comment ew, and you don't feel comfortable to share some personal stuff about your connection to this reading, just let me know what you'd call this little guy here. And that is in the words of my son. If my son was here, go, what would you call this little guy? This little guy. He speaks like that. But yeah, what would you call this little guy here? I will pass on the names to my son. Maybe next week I'll tell you which name he finally chose. And there's probably not going to be a prize, but maybe in the future we could do that. Okay, I'll have to work out how to do that first. That's a bloody good idea, isn't it? I'll look into that, alright? If your name is chosen, there's no prize this time, but there might be next time, okay? Brilliant. Pile number 3, please subscribe if you do like content like this. I gotta get out of here, I've gotta eat. I would say I've got to go back to sleep, but unfortunately I won't be able to because the neighbours are loud all day and all flipping night. And yes, I shall see you guys next week. Love you and appreciate you so much. It's you guys that are keeping me going, trust me. And yes, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.